October 17th, 2025. Right now, as you're listening to this, two objects are passing within 50 million kilometers of each other near the Sun. One of them shouldn't exist. The other one definitely shouldn't be here, and nobody's allowed to watch. This is the story of how September changed everything we thought we knew about what's possible in our solar system. Let me take you back 3 weeks. It's a Friday morning, September 12th. The SOHO satellite is doing what it's been doing for decades, scanning the space around our sun. Its SWAN instrument picks up a bright spot. Nothing unusual about that. Comets get spotted all the time. But then the data starts coming in, and people stop what they're doing. This thing has a tail that stretches 2.5 degrees across the sky. For context, hold up your thumb at arm's length. That's about 2 degrees. This tail is bigger than that. 5 times wider than the full moon you see at night. When was the last time something like this showed up? You'd have to go back to the 1990s, to Hale-Bopp. Before that, even further. These kinds of objects don't just appear anymore. Modern astronomy is supposed to catch them early, when they're still faint and far away. This one just materialized, fully formed and brilliant. Within 48 hours, amateur astronomers in Australia are posting images. The object is so bright, magnitude 7.4, that you can see it through binoculars if you know where to look. Backyard telescopes across the southern hemisphere are pointing at it. The International Astronomical Union gives it an official designation, C2025 R2 SWAN. And that's when someone notices something that makes their blood run cold. There's another one already inbound. His name is 3I ATLAS. The I stands for interstellar. This is only the third confirmed object from outside our solar system, after Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. But here's where it gets strange. SWAN is coming in from the direction of Aquarius. Atlas is approaching from Sagittarius. On a celestial map, these two directions are separated by over 90 degrees. They're coming from completely different parts of space. And they're both going to reach their closest approach to the Sun within 3 days of each other. Atlas on October 17th. SWAN on October 20th. Let me put this in perspective. Our solar system is incomprehensibly vast. The odds of two objects from different origins arriving at nearly the same place at nearly the same time? Astronomers I've spoken to struggle to even calculate the probability. Some say millions to one. Others say it's worse than that. One researcher told me, off the record, it's like throwing 2 darts at a map of Earth from opposite ends of a football field, and both of them hitting the same street corner. But it gets stranger still. Both objects are on extremely tilted orbits. SWAN's path is inclined more than 60 degrees from the plane where all the planets orbit. Atlas is almost perpendicular, coming in nearly straight up through the solar system. These aren't normal trajectories. They don't follow the rules. And then there's the timing. Between October 8th and October 18th, the Sun is directly between Earth and both of these objects. From our perspective, they disappear into the glare. Every ground-based telescope on the planet is blind to what's happening during the most critical window. Their closest approach to each other, their moment of maximum brightness, the point where any unusual behavior would be most visible. All of it happens behind the curtain of the Sun. You might think, well, we have space telescopes, we have satellites, we can still observe them, right? That's what I thought too, until I started finding the memos. Internal communications from the European Space Agency. Scheduling documents from U.S. Space Command, emails between observatory directors, all saying the same thing. Suspend observation, no radar tracking, no high-resolution imaging, no public statements until after perihelion. When I reached out to contacts at major observatories, the responses were carefully worded. Solar conjunction makes observation technically challenging. Resources are allocated to other priorities during this period. We'll have comprehensive data once the objects emerge. But here's what nobody's saying out loud. We've observed objects during solar conjunction before. We have protocols for it. We have the technology. So why the coordinated blackout now? Why these two objects specifically? Let me tell you about ATLAS first, because its story is the reason some people think this might not be natural. Early spectroscopic analysis from multiple labs detected something impossible. The object's composition is almost pure nickel. No iron. Every comet, every asteroid, every rocky body we've ever studied has iron mixed with its nickel. It's one of the most fundamental signatures of natural solar system formation. Iron and nickel condense together from the same stellar processes. You don't get one without the other, unless someone separated them deliberately. The initial reports were immediately challenged. Labs demanded recalibration. Critics pointed to systematic errors, contaminated data, instrument malfunction, anything to explain it away. But as more observations came in from independent sources, the nickel signature held. Then came the chemistry of the tail. Instead of the water vapor you'd expect from a normal comet, ATLAS is spewing carbon dioxide at 5 times the rate of water. The 4.3 micron emission line dominates every spectrum. Unusual, but not impossible. Some comets from the outer reaches of the solar system are CO2 rich. What can't be explained is what happened next. On July 29th, ATLAS accelerated. Photometric data showed a sudden brightness spike. The tail changed color from reddish to neutral, then back. The object's velocity increased. 2 weeks later, August 14th, it happened again. Same pattern. Brightness jump, color shift, acceleration. These aren't smooth changes driven by solar heating. They're sharp, discrete events, like someone flipping a switch. Researchers started calling them delta V pulses. Delta V is the term for velocity change, the kind you get from a rocket burn or thruster firing. The mainstream explanation is outgassing. Volatile materials suddenly vaporizing from the surface, creating jets that push the object. It happens with comets, but the timing is too regular, the pattern too repeating. And when you calculate the energy required to produce those accelerations, you get a number around 10 gigawatts. That's the output of 10 large nuclear power plants. No natural comet nucleus can produce that, not even close. Some researchers started using a different term, thrust mix modulation. The way the CO2 levels in the tail changed in sync with each acceleration looked less like random outgassing and more like controlled propellant management, the kind of thing you'd see in an engine. Now let's talk about SWAN, because if ATLAS is strange, SWAN is terrifying. The energy estimates for SWAN put it at 10,000 gigawatts. That's not a typo. 10,000. More than the entire electrical output of human civilization. Where's that power coming from? What's generating it? Amateur spectroscopists examining the reflected light from SWAN's nucleus found something that shouldn't be there. A metallic signature. Not just nickel like ATLAS, but a nickel-cobalt alloy. On Earth, we use nickel-cobalt alloys for specific applications: high-stress environments, corrosion resistance, structural strength at extreme temperatures, the kinds of materials you'd use to build a hull. Then, observers started noticing the halo, a silvery, shifting glow around the central nucleus. The pattern changes, but it's persistent. Some descriptions make it sound like a plasma field, an electromagnetic envelope surrounding the core. People started calling it the fortress, because unlike ATLAS, which seems agile and responsive, SWAN presents like something built to withstand anything. Armored, shielded, invulnerable. The tail shows micropulsations, tiny rhythmic variations in direction and brightness, course corrections. Not the chaotic, random jets of a comet breaking apart under solar heating, but precise, measured adjustments, like navigation. And then there's the orbit itself. SWAN's trajectory is a long period ellipse. It takes 22,554 years to complete one orbit around the Sun. Think about that number, 22,554 years. The last time this object passed through the inner solar system, it was 20,532 BCE. The world was in the grip of the last ice age. Glaciers covered continents. Sea levels were hundreds of feet lower. The climate was completely different. Humans existed, but we were hunter-gatherers. No cities, no agriculture, no written language. And if SWAN really is on this cycle, it means that whatever launched it, or built it, or programmed it, did so with a mission timeline that spans the entire history of human civilization. The pyramids of Giza, built 4,500 years ago. SWAN's orbit is 5 times older. The earliest writing systems? Maybe 5,000 years old. SWAN's orbit predates them by a factor of 4. This isn't just ancient, it's prehistoric. Some researchers have pointed to a site in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe. It's one of the oldest known megalithic structures, built around 9,600 BCE. The stone pillars there are carved with symbols and animals. Some of the carvings have been interpreted as astronomical, possibly depicting comets or other celestial events. A few fringe theorists argue that Göbekli Tepe might be a record of SWAN's previous passage, that ancient humans witnessed this object, were awed or terrified by it, and built monuments to mark its appearance. The mainstream view is skeptical. There's no direct evidence linking the carvings to any specific astronomical event, let alone one from more than 11,000 years ago. But the timing is provocative. Ice core data from Greenland and Antarctica shows anomalies from that period. Chemical signatures and dust layers that suggest unusual activity in the upper atmosphere. Some researchers think these could be traces of cometary debris. If SWAN passed through 22,000 years ago, during the last ice age, and then again around 10,000 BCE, when Göbekli Tepe was being built, it would place this object at 2 pivotal moments in Earth's climate and human development. Coincidence? Probably, but it's hard not to wonder. So we have 2 objects, one possibly interstellar, showing signs of controlled acceleration and unusual composition, the other on a 22,000-year cycle, massive, energetic, and apparently shielded, both arriving within days of each other, both hidden from view during their closest approach. What are we looking at? There are 3 main theories circulating, and none of them are comfortable. Theory 1, scheduled rendezvous, the Sun as a waypoint, both objects using solar energy or magnetic fields for refueling, data exchange, or system maintenance. In deep space mission design, using stellar bodies for gravitational assists and energy collection is standard practice. If these are probes, the Sun is the logical meeting point, high energy, strong magnetic field, predictable orbit. You could time a rendezvous centuries in advance. Theory 2, recovery operation, one object malfunctioning, the other sent to retrieve or deactivate it. The power differential supports this. ATLAS at 10 gigawatts, SWAN at 10,000. One is the target, the other is the response. The stepwise accelerations in ATLAS could be attempts at course correction by a damaged or deteriorating system. SWAN, massive and powerful, arrives to contain the situation. Theory 3, escalation protocol, Oumuamua in 2017, ATLAS in 2025, SWAN in 2025, 3 interstellar or near-interstellar objects in 8 years, each more complex than the last. What if they're responding to us? Humanity has been broadcasting radio signals for over a century. Our earliest powerful transmissions would now be more than 100 light-years away. If something detected those signals and responded, we'd be seeing the first arrivals right about now. Oumuamua was small, fast, tumbling. A reconnaissance probe. ATLAS is larger, powered, maneuverable, an investigation platform. SWAN is massive, shielded, carrying energy reserves that dwarf anything we can produce. an intervention asset, each step a response to the previous one's findings, each arrival more capable than the last. I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying any of this is definitive. The data is incomplete. The observations are contested. Every anomaly has alternative explanations, and scientists are right to be skeptical. But the pattern is there, and the blackout makes it worse. Because when you tell the entire astronomical community to look away during the most critical window, during the moment when both objects are closest to the sun and closest to each other, you're not preventing panic, you're creating suspicion. Here's what happened when the blackout orders came down. Bill Gray, an independent orbit calculator who's been tracking near-Earth objects for decades, sent out a call on public astronomy forums. Keep watching, log everything, share the data. Within days, a network formed, the Ibero Tracker Collective in Spain and Portugal, amateur astronomers across Australia and South America, small university observatories willing to go off-book. Even repurposed weather satellites and radio telescopes got pulled into the effort, because when the official channels shut down, the informal networks became the only source of real-time information. Some of these groups started using encryption, dead drops for data files, distributed storage so no single person held the complete picture. It sounds paranoid, but when multiple people report having their data requests rerouted or delayed, when proposals for alternative observation methods get denied without explanation, paranoia starts to look like prudence. The blackout was supposed to create silence. Instead, it created an underground. We're now past perihelion for both objects. ATLAS made its closest approach on October 17th. SWAN followed on October 20th. As I'm recording this, they're beginning to emerge from behind the sun. Observatories are coming back online, the blackout window is ending, and the data is starting to come in. I can't share most of it yet. Some of it is still being verified. Some of it contradicts other reports. And some of it, frankly, I'm not sure anyone is ready to hear. But here's what I can tell you. Both objects are still active. Both are still showing anomalous behavior. And the trajectory data suggests their paths crossed, not just in the general vicinity, actually crossed, within measurement error of each other. If that holds up under further analysis, it means this wasn't a coincidence, it was a meeting. So where does this leave us? We have two objects that defied probability to arrive together. One shows signs of controlled acceleration and unusual composition. The other demonstrates energy output and apparent shielding that challenges our understanding of what's possible. Their arrival was hidden from official observation during the most critical period. Amateur networks had to fill the gap, and the trajectory data suggests they made physical contact or came extremely close. Either this is the most extraordinary coincidence in astronomical history, or we've just witnessed something deliberate. A scheduled operation, a recovery mission, a first contact protocol. I don't know which. But I know we're not getting the full story from official sources, and I know that the sky is no longer a passive backdrop to human existence. It's an active environment, and we're not the only ones operating in it. The question now is what comes next. If these objects were probes, did they complete their mission? Are they reporting back? Are there more coming? If this was a rendezvous, who initiated it? And what did they exchange? If this was an escalation protocol, what are they escalating toward? The amateur networks are still watching, still logging data, still sharing information despite the obstacles. Because they understand something the official agencies don't want to acknowledge. This isn't over. SWAN and ATLAS may be moving away from the sun now, heading back into deep space. But their arrival changed something fundamental. We are no longer alone in our ignorance. We know now that objects can arrive with intention, with coordination, with capabilities that exceed natural explanation. And if it happened once, it can happen again. The next arrival might not wait 22,000 years. It might not give us any warning at all. So keep watching the sky. Keep asking questions. Keep demanding answers. Because the greatest discovery in human history might not be announced in a press conference. It might happen in someone's backyard, logged by an amateur telescope, shared through encrypted channels before anyone can suppress it. The truth is out there, and for the first time in history, we might actually be close to finding it.